Let me just get this right. You were 2 yards away from a perfect week.
A perfect week, and it would have been 69 points. Quite literally the perfect week.
2 yards
Two
by
whole
a
yards.
running back from the Colts would have given you all of those things. Now you know how Las Vegas bettors feel.
Yeah, and what's funny is I was watching the game too. I was like, I don't care if the Colts win this game. I just want Taylor to get just 2 yards.
That's sad. That's really sad.
Yeah.
What is going on, guys? Knicks picks week 13 of the regular season, and I am joined, as I am always, by Ben. Ben, it seems like a blink of an eye, and all of a sudden it's week 13 of the regular season. You caught up quite a bit last week. You had damn near perfect week. You were 2 yards
So
off of
close.
that perfect week. But nonetheless, I mean, even if you had the perfect week, I would have still been up, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice. I scored only 6 last week. You managed to get 12 out of a 14, which would have been a perfect week. But I mean, you came back a little bit. So how you doing? Week 13.
No, I definitely needed that because I think if I like outside of the 2 point like that like would have helped, but like pulling within at least four definitely helps out a lot. Especially knowing that like I think it would have been better if you got your wager wrong. I was literally rooting for the Lions the entire time at work, but it is what it is.
So I hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, it was a little weird having 3 games on Thanksgiving, especially one of those games being my team. So like I really didn't pay attention to any Sunday football. I just kind of like went through some highlights so that I'd be a little bit ready for this. But let's go into the week 12 recap to find out how Ben almost got his perfect week, but how I still have the lead going into it. So let's get into these Thanksgiving Day games. It started with a thriller between the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions, where the Buffalo Bills managed to win the game 28-25. Interesting fact about this one, I always throw in interesting facts in these recaps. The Buffalo Bills are the first team to win back-to-back games in Detroit since 2016. Obviously, since the Detroit Lions did it. But the Detroit Lions haven't done it since 2016. So the Bills are the first team since 2016 to finally have won back-to-back games in Detroit since they played last week because of the snowstorm. Unfortunately, the Giants, I mean, I predicted this to happen, but the Giants just couldn't hold up with the Dallas Cowboys. They lose the game 28-20. Daniel Jones, just another bad game. I mean, at this point, the Giants are going to make the playoffs. I mean, as long as they don't lose this to the Commanders. But there's more to be said later. And finishing out the Thanksgiving Day games, the Minnesota Vikings did go on to beat the New England Patriots 33-26. Kirk Cousins apparently can win in prime time when I pick him not to. That's the only time it happens.
Let's pump the brakes just a little bit. It's 1 week.
We moved into the Sunday games. Another one of my games that I got wrong. The Cleveland Browns actually managed to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-17 in overtime. I really don't know what's going on with Tampa Bay, but Cleveland's about to get Mr. Happy Endings back, so we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Actually, fun fact, apparently that was the first time that a Tom Brady led team has lost when they are up by seven or more in the 2 minute warning.
Way to go,
Like
Tom.
ever.
Way to go,
Nice
Tom.
going.
It's his first loss since the divorce, and
What a way.
yeah. The Cincinnati Bengals went on to beat the Tennessee Titans 20-16 over the weekend. The only thing I really have to say about this game is I saw a video of, I don't even know who it was, from the Cincinnati Bengals walking off the field and being like, something to fuck you, Tennessee. That's basically all I saw. The Miami Dolphins went on to beat the Houston Texans 30-15. Just everyone beating up on Houston this year. They're going to have the number 1 pick. The New York Jets went on to beat the Chicago Bears 31-10. We'll get to the Jets a little bit later in their whole quarterback situation, but wow. The Washington Commies, you couldn't help me out. You couldn't help me out in
Nope.
Madden. You lose to the Vikings when I needed you to beat them in Madden.
Nope.
And the Falcons couldn't beat the fucking Commies. They lose 19-13 on Sunday. Right now, as it stands right now, all four NFC East teams are in the playoffs, but it's going to be a fight between the Giants, the Commies, and the Seahawks for those like final 2 spots. And fuck. Carolina Panthers went on to beat the Denver Broncos 23-10. Who the fuck asked? Who really fucking asked about that game? The Los Angeles Chargers still haven't fully come out of their shell, but they finally showed their balls a little bit, going up against the Arizona Cardinals in a game where They were down by 7 late in the game, scored a touchdown, which should have just tied the game, but instead decided to go for 2 points and the win. And the Los Angeles Chargers go on to beat the Arizona Cardinals 25-24. The Las Vegas Raiders went on to beat the Seattle Seahawks 40-34 in overtime. I was going through this game looking at it where the Seahawks potentially went wrong because, I mean, I kind of like this. I need the Seahawks to kind of falter a little bit towards the end of the season. But Seahawks really didn't do anything wrong here. The Raiders just finally had a great offensive performance out of everybody, Josh Jacobs included. 200 and however many yards he had rushing the ball.
And the game winner, too, in OT. I think it was like the third
86-yard game winner, too, to win.
Just gone.
Ben's wager pick, the Kansas City Chiefs went on to beat the Los Angeles Rams, those defending Super Bowl champions, 26-10. The Rams just look absolutely awful, and the Chiefs just keep looking better every single week. The San Francisco 49ers shut out the New Orleans Saints 13-10. Those are the kind of games the San Francisco 49ers win when Jimmy Garoppolo is your quarterback. You have CMC, Debo, and you have George Kittle. And you are so limited just because of Jimmy Garoppolo. I was kind of hoping the Packers could pull this one off, but the Philadelphia Eagles went on to beat the Green Bay Packers 40-33. In fact, I think Aaron Rodgers ended up getting hurt in this game. Don't know how serious that injury is, but at this point, he might as well just sit out the rest of the season because it's pretty much over for the Packers, and you might as well just let Jordan Love show why they should never have drafted him.
I mean, to be fair, he did look decent in that fourth quarter. He looked okay.
Garbage time.
Yeah, it's just garbage time.
And finally, on Monday night, the Pittsburgh Steelers actually managed to beat the Indianapolis Colts. I really don't have anything to report on this game. I don't know what happened or anything like that, but it's kind of a shock to me that the Pittsburgh Steelers actually managed to go on and beat the Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers are another one of those teams. I think Kenny Pickett is going to be a star someday in this league, but they're going to put up a fight against you this upcoming weekend. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and honestly, it was just bad clock management by Jeff Saturday.
So that rounds out the Week 12 recap, which brings our score to 71-67. He wishes it was 69. You know what? If you had made 69 too, I would have made the border green just because even though you're losing, you're technically winning because you have 69 points.
You know what I should do? I should just make my 2-point like extremely easy and just whiff on all my picks and just hope I get the 2-point. Just like,
so you mean pick your 2-point, or I mean pick your picks normally and then
fuck you.
Gotcha.
I'm like my 2 points is like Patrick Mahomes throws at least one completion.
Patrick Mahomes.
And then I get all my other.
And then you just pick normal. So let's move straight into these Week 13 picks. We start with the game of the week, and there's actually a lot of good games to go through this week. It's fucking weird because we haven't had this.
It's up to Week 13.
We haven't had this since like Week 2. But anyways, the San Francisco 49ers are going up against the Miami Dolphins, two teams that are fighting for their own rights right now. The San Francisco 49ers are fighting with the Seattle Seahawks for that NFC West, and the Dolphins are in a absolute massive battle in the AFC East. One of, if not the strongest division in the NFL, if you want to argue that the East or the NFC East is stronger, whatever. The Dolphins have a tall task ahead of them along with the San Francisco 49ers, so this is bound to be a game where both teams just come out swinging. They need everything. And I know I just ripped on Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit ago, but I still do think that the 49ers have a more talented roster, and it is in San Francisco. I mean, California teams don't typically do too well when it comes to home field advantage, but the San Francisco 49ers are the best of those bunch. So this home field advantage should help them out at least a little bit, and I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game 24-23, probably one of the closest games I have called so far in Nick's picks all season.
I'm so close to challenging. I want you to know that.
Really? You think the Dolphins are?
I do think the Dolphins are going to win, but I'm gonna keep that challenge because I don't think I'm in a position to use it just yet, knowing that you still have one as well. I'm going to hold on that for a bit.
Okay.
My game of the week is a rematch of the AFC Championship game, and that is, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs going against the Cincinnati Bengals. I was close to picking Cincy to win this game. It is in Cincinnati, but I can't go against the Chiefs in this one. Mixon, I don't know if he's healthy or not, and Jamar Chase, also not sure if he's healthy or not, so the Bengals are more banged up than the Chiefs. So I have to go with the Chiefs on this one, 27 24-21 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Mahomes gets his revenge for the AFC Championship game, and maybe these teams still face off in the playoffs. I think that is still a possibility, but the Bengals are just kind of down at the moment. I think if they were fully healthy, I might have said the Bengals, but not at this point.
Okay, so we move on to our picks of the week. Now, the Falcons will have to go up against the Steelers, like I said, and that's going to be a tough one for you because you actually have a chance to take the lead in the NFC South, barring what happens with the Bucs and the Saints game. Big one for you guys. Don't choke it.
I hate you with a burning passion.
But anyways, the Giants go up against the Washington Commies, and this is actually a huge game because honestly, it sounds weird saying it's a huge game, but this is honestly a battle for last place in the NFC East, but still the 7th spot in the wild card. Giants have had a couple of bad games lately going forward, and the Commies have just kind of been up and down all season long. So this is one of those games that's really tough, and I'm going to give you another chance to challenge here because I'm going to be the homer, not only picking the home team, but picking my favorite team. I do think that the Giants are still better than the Washington Commies. I know we've had our struggles over the last couple weeks, but I don't think that our defense is going to struggle as bad as it has the last couple weeks against Washington because they have not a whole lot of offense working for them. They don't have a solid running game. And the only real weapon that Heineke has is McLaurin. So I do think that the Giants are the better team. And I do have the Giants winning this game 23-20 over the Washington Commies this week. When we make the playoffs, because I do think it's going to happen, I think we're going out pretty quickly.
All right. And, well, I'm just kind of just baiting a challenge at this point. Because I feel like no matter where I go, you might challenge this pick, but I'm going to go with the team that has a lot of expectations. Oh wait, this is Falcons Steelers. Never mind, no expectations. Got it. The team that I think has the better chance to win, and it's because this team is home. I am going with the Falcons to win this game, 24-21 over at Pittsburgh.
So that's why you didn't challenge my homer pick because you're being a homer yourself.
Correct. Either way, I don't think either teams are going to do that great. I only have the Falcons winning 24-21. And honestly, I should probably have it be a lot lower than that. But I'm just kind of going off the fact that I believe more in the Falcons offense than the Steelers offense.
So we move on to the picks that we give each other. Now, like I said, there were a lot of good games this week. So when we went through all the good games this week, we picked 2 for our games of the week. And then we gave each other the other ones. So I gave Ben the Eagles going up against the Titans. God, I really hope the Titans win that one.
I hope so too, honestly.
I'm praying on that one. I know you're not going to pick it because I wouldn't either.
Nope.
But Ben gave me the Bills going up against the New England Patriots. Now, I would consider talking about how the New England Patriots could win this game if they didn't just lose to Kirk Cousins in primetime. You don't lose to Kirk Cousins in prime time. You don't do that, especially when I fucking pick you to do it. Plus, Buffalo's kind of on a yes, and Buffalo's kind of on a roll lately, and they're my Super Bowl pick. So you really think I was gonna pick New England over Buffalo in this game? I mean, come on. I have the Buffalo Bills winning this game, 31-17 over the New England Patriots. It's in New England, but I really don't care. It's the game you guys are watching tonight, and I just don't think that the New England Patriots have been able to show up in prime time at any time this season either. At least thinking back to the games that I can think of. But so the Patriots have their own little primetime streak going on, but the Bills have been able to play good no matter what time slot they play in. So I'm going with the Bills winning this game 31-17.
All right, like Nick said, I got the Eagles and the Titans. And if it was who I want to win, I would pick Tennessee. I think we both know that. But it's also in Philly. And yes, I think it was a one-score game between Philly and Green Bay. We all know they just stopped playing at that point. I have the Eagles winning this one 30-20. I don't see this being really any close. Maybe because both these teams are great at running the ball. I do think that Tennessee could stay in this game. I think if they keep the Eagles offense off the field, they could win it. That being said, I still don't believe in Tennessee that much. I think they'll win the division, but they'll be the 4th seed. It's kind of the same way how I feel with either Atlanta or Tampa winning the NFC South. It's yeah, they'll win the division, but do they really win? Air quotes.
All right, we had to talk about it at some point, right? The game had to come up. We had to talk about this game because the NFL scripted it this way. The NFL made us have to do it this way. They suspended him for a full season. The appeal happened, and they're like, you play the Texans in Week 13 in Houston. that'd be a perfect time to let Deshaun Watson come back. So why not? Let's talk about it. That's what the NFL wants us to do. That's what we're going to do. Mr. Happy Endings has made his way back, and I have this as my wager pick because I see no chance that the Houston Texans win this game. Even if they had a fucking dog at quarterback, like my wiener dog that I have downstairs, Coco, she could play quarterback, and they would probably still beat the Houston Texans. But the fans of Houston are going to be there, and they're going to be loud, and they are going to be very anti Deshaun Watson throughout this game. But they're going to walk into this game expecting their team to win. And much like the masseuses for Deshaun Watson, they're going to get something else. I do think...
You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do it, dude.
My wager pick is the Cleveland Browns beating the Houston Texans 28-13. Mr. Happy Endings getting his revenge on Houston because he doesn't deserve revenge, actually. But in his mind, he's going to have revenge.
Is this his ultimate happy ending?
This is the happy ending he's always wanted.
All right, and my wager is the Baltimore Ravens going against Broncos country. Let's cry. Of course, the Denver Broncos. I don't know if I've told you this stat, but apparently if the Broncos offense scored at least like 18 or like 20 points a game, they'd be like 9-2. And also, I didn't remember this. Apparently, there's someone tracking however many touchdowns Russell Wilson has and seeing if it would be over or under how many bathrooms he has in his house.
I'm just now thinking about this. I was like, oh, wait a second. I didn't say that Justin Tucker missed a 67-yard field goal against the Jaguars. But now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't think I even mentioned that game at all during the recap. It'll be edited in, but
yeah.
Maybe they lost to the Jaguars last week, and you're about to wager them to win. But okay.
I mean, to be fair, I don't blame you. I blocked that game when their mascot had a Speedo. But yeah, I have the Ravens winning against the Broncos, mainly because, I mean, even though the Broncos have a good defense, their offense is just, good God. I have the good God. I have the Ravens winning this game 24-17 over the Denver Broncos. And honestly, I feel bad for Denver. Well, Seattle will have a top 5 pick. Won't be their pick.
So we finished Nick's picks week 13 with the 2-point conversions. Now last week, my 2-point conversion was that Zach Wilson was going to throw half as many passing yards as Justin Fields. The quarterback matchup for the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets ended up being Trevor Siemian and Mike White. So,
great matchup.
Aside from that, Mike White ended up having a pretty decent game. The third Jets quarterback to have a pretty decent game going this season. So, currently, the Jets quarterback touchdown passes go like this. Joe Flacco currently has 5 touchdown passes for the New York Jets. Zach Wilson currently has 4 touchdown passes for the New York Jets. And Mike White currently has 3 touchdown passes for the New York Jets. So my 2-point conversion is that Mike White, he had an outstanding game last week against the Chicago Bears. 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had an outstanding game. So he's going to do the same thing again against the Minnesota Vikings. Do I think the Jets will win this game? Probably not. But I do think that Mike White, by the end of this week, will be the New York Jets' leading passing touchdown scorer on the team, meaning he'll have at least 6 total season touchdown passes by the end of this week. So he'll need at least 3 against the Minnesota Vikings. So that is my 2-point conversion. The Jets have had 3 starting quarterbacks this year. None of them have done all that bad except for Zach Wilson. But I mean, at least they're 7-5. That's all I can say. Or 7-4.
All right. My 2-point conversion is a divisional matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the defending champion LA Rams. And honestly, Nick, if you can tell me who the starting running back is for the Rams, I'll just throw away this 2-point right now.
I would have assumed like Akers is still there, or
honestly, I don't even know. I have no idea.
Anderson or whatever his name is.
Henderson? I don't fucking know, dude. All I know is if you look on ESPN where it says rusher, it's just blank for the Rams. That's why I bring that up. But I do know who the running back is for the Seattle Seahawks, and that is one Kenneth Walker III. And I think that he will have more rushing yards than the entire Rams offense. Because honestly, I think he is going to be the rookie of the year. And I think the Rams are just, well, I would say they're vying for a top pick, but I don't even know who has their pick this year at this point. They just give
Fun
them away
fact
to whoever.
Fun fact about Kenneth Walker last week. Try to put this one together. He had a 12-yard rushing touchdown. He had a 14-yard rushing touchdown, but he had 14 total rushing yards throughout the game.
I'm still sticking with it.
Oh, I'm sorry. He had 26 rushing yards. So that was all of his rushing yards was on those 2 plays. But he had 14 carries.
I was like, how many carries did he have?
He had 14 carries. So those 2 carries were all of his yards and all of his touchdowns. But there were still 12 carries unaccounted for. So that is it for Nick's Picks Week 13. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Another place you should go subscribe to or follow us on, that is Twitch. The link will be in the description for the Twitch channel. We are live there Mondays at 6:30, Fridays at 6:30, Saturdays at noon, Sundays at noon, and we are live here on YouTube 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. Nick's Pick drops every Thursday, so be ready for Nick's Picks Week 14. That'll drop next Thursday, and I hope you guys enjoy the Thursday night game tonight between the Bills and the Patriots, my pick that was given to me by Ben. But with all that being said, like I said at the beginning of the video, the current score of Nick's Picks is 71-67, the score that determines the bet at the end of the season where one of us will have to endure eating something hot during the Super Bowl special. So it'll be a good one. But Ben, we head out of Week 13. Before we head out of here, though, is there anything you want to say before we head out?
Only your English was as bad as your picks. I'd be winning, well, by like maybe a point, but like it is what it is.
No, my English is as bad as your picks.
Are we friends? I know you did that on purpose, but it just threw me for a loop.
That is it for Nick's Picks Week 13. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great one. Peace. Last time I was like, I hope you enjoyed the Zoom, and you're like, I did enjoy the Zoom, and then we did the back and forth thing, and I did the back and forth thing, and it was great. What do you got for me? Now I'm all
Bye, guys. I'm sorry. I love how you're just like the expectations going higher, and only I could just send it crashing down. Just as we cut to you, just looking at your screen or looking at me, whatever you want to fucking say, and you're just like this fucker, and then we're gonna cut to me again. I could have 69 points.